I could do what they do. It won't work. You could literally do exactly what Burnt Peanut or someone else does. No one will care. Okay?
How's it going today, guys? Since the last time that we talked about DSP, a lot of things have been going on inside of his little lolcow sphere that he likes to live in. Normally, it's just a whole lot of nothing, raging at video games, talking about donations, and that's normally about it. Oh, and some occasional Kino Casino rage, but besides that, nothing really else. Until here recently, that's when Asmongold released a video about DSP that got around 1 million or so views. I mean, at this time, it's probably got more than 1 million. And to many people's surprise, Asmongold, tried to want to be DSP's friend a little bit. He was like, alright, I'm gonna go talk to the guy. And at first, people thought this was gonna be a disaster. I didn't know how Asmongold was gonna go about it at first. I thought he was probably gonna take the easy route. And he actually went to DSP's stream and gave him a softball interview. And what did this leave DSP with? Well, actually almost nothing. DSP got a small little bump in viewership for a short period of time, and that's until Asmongold's viewers realized that DSP was just insane, insufferable, doesn't respect his viewers, the money that they give him, nothing about them, and they're like, alright, I'm gonna leave. And they eventually moved on, leaving DSP raging and seething, and that's until we sparked up a friendship. Now, it's not like him and Wings of Redemption haven't talked in the past, but here recently, DSP has wanted to talk to Wings more and more often. I think he views Wings as his last hope, because if this doesn't work out, who the heck else is DSP going to talk to? And he's literally going to just fade away into nothingness. And like normal, Wings of Redemption just kept ghosting him over and over, and that was making Phil crash out and seethe on the regular. But out of nowhere, Wings of Redemption wanted to talk to DSP in the middle of the night. So DSP decides to jump on phone call, laying right next to Kat, and just sit there and gossip with Wings about their career, all the detractors, for at least 20 or 30 minutes, until Wings decides he wants to bring up women in this conversation, and Kat just shuts it down. She makes DSP hang up the phone call. You better listen to your mommy or she's gonna put you in timeout, DSP. And no, $11.95 will not get you out of this situation, or any OIC tips, just out of the question. But I don't want to hold you guys in the intro too long, because this is already a long video, so let's go ahead and jump right into it.
As you can see, I was busy. All right, I got stuff adjusted and updated and set up for the new month. Shall I walk you through some of the changes that we have? So first off, right off the bat, things were moved and are a little different. The desk isn't even where it was. The desk I moved over about 6 inches to the left, which allowed me to now have more room going in and out of the studio. Previously, the door wouldn't even open all the way because this desk was so close to the door. So I was having problems moving things in and out. And notably, there is a rack here, storage rack, that was always in the room across the hallway in the closet, but we're cleaning that room out. We're going to try to repurpose it for something. And we're going to do the closet clean out. And I'd like to use that rack in here for storage to actually put all my stuff on. So the only way to do that was to be able to open the door. So I basically had to reposition everything. So this desk now is as far to the left as it can possibly go. It's now actually about touching the wall over there. Now, as for things that have been refreshed and updated, okay, first off, my hair. We all are noticing that people are already mentioning it in the chat. Yes, I got a haircut. I needed to, okay? But outside of my hair, I changed the color of the back wall here. Instead of it being blue, which I thought would be appropriate for like the Christmas month and for January to represent winter, I changed it back to the black tiles. Now, I'm debating whether or not I should buy another set of white tiles and make the entire wall white. I could do that, but they cost $100 because they're out of print. Like, they don't make these wall tiles anymore. Okay, so continuing on. In regards to animations, there is now a brand new animation for any contribution of $10. You guys said that you didn't like the Pikachu animation I was using last month. You were very annoyed by it. So I said, all right, we'll change it out. So there's a very romantic animation for a $10 contribution this month, whether it's a $10 tip, a $10 super chat, or 1,000 kicks. Any of those 3 contributions, you will get a very romantic and appropriate animation for the month of February, okay? Now, I left everything else the same except for the $100 animation. All right, that one I updated because previously it was a bunch of fireworks playing Auld Lang Syne. So we have a special one for the month of February as well for the $100 contribution, whether that would be a super chat, whether that would be, I don't know, what would that be? 10,000 kicks, or a $100 tip. All of those have been updated. Will you see them? Probably not. I mean, to be honest, I think in the month of January, we only saw the $100 animation like twice. So very rare when we actually get to see a contribution of that level to see what the animation is, all right?
I don't know why I think it's hilarious that DSP opens up his videos, or I guess what he calls his podcasts, with basically dad talk to his viewers. He has like went against having children his entire life, which is a kind of a good thing. I'm going to say that's a positive in Phil's life. But instead of actually having children, he's just turned his live stream viewers into that. It's just like, yeah, you know that table that was in here yesterday, son? I moved it about 5 inches to the left. You see that? You know how when we was walking through, you might stub your toe a little bit? Yeah, well, yeah, thank you, Father. It was a lot of hard work, you know. In doing that, I had to move the shelf over as well. Your mother was a little upset, and it's like, well, is she downstairs crying? He's like, yeah, sure, she has been for hours, son. It's like, makes total sense. I'll make sure to buy her some DoorDash. Because if you're DSP's son, that's all he really wants from you. Like, come in, give me a little bit of acknowledgement, enjoy the video games that I'm playing right now, and buy me DoorDash. It's definitely the reverse of most people's childhood. You know, when you're a child, you might be getting brought McDonald's every now and then while you're playing Battlefield or Call of Duty. But no, with DSP, this extends all the way into his 40s. He has now officially had 2 childhoods, and maybe if he goes into a retirement home, DSP might be the first man in history to have 3 childhoods. You know, normally you section it off. All right, you was a kid, you was an adult, and then you were old. I guess you could put teenager somewhere in the middle there, but for right now, I think the 3 works just fine. But no matter how many childhoods DSP goes through, none will be filled with the Valentine's Day letter, not a love card from a soul. And the man has a wife, supposedly. You know, he might. He says he does. She's in the house. You guys will see that later. But I mean, he probably doesn't even get them from her. He probably DoorDashes Valentine cards for himself and leaves notes to the DoorDasher like, hey, will you write your name in this for me so I feel a little bit special? That's not a bad idea, you know. If you're incredibly lonely, boom, you got that going for you. Also, you need a tad bit of delusion to make that work, but you know, if you got that going for you, there you go. But what am I saying? We don't need Valentine's Day cards when you got people sending you $100 donations, or at least maybe. I mean, they're only doing it twice last month, and that's some crazy stuff, right? To know you got 2 $100 plus donations in the past. But Phil, he's counting them, and it's your fault as a viewer if he's not getting more. Like, if you're going on live stream and the donations or the support isn't that crazy, it's not that big of a deal. They don't need their viewer base to just dump hundreds or thousands of dollars on them every single night. A majority of the time you do a live stream, it's for the fun of doing a live stream. Maybe it's a topic you don't really know how to make a video on, or it's just something you want to talk about right away, something that might like excite your viewers, maybe have their attention as well, so you want to share it with them. Like, there's so many reasons to do a live stream that doesn't involve money, or money being the entire reason that you're there. But when it comes to DSP, like, it is the end all be all. And he sits there and claims, well, it's because I'm a business. Well, you can be a business, but that doesn't mean you have to like hammer it home to your viewers. Donate me hundreds of dollars or I will be out of business. If you are a business and that's your motto, that's not a business. That's something that's going to fail here soon.
Did I see Wings crash out yesterday? The only thing I heard a couple of things. First of all, I don't actively go to watch these videos, but people like will either send them to me or tell me. So first of all, someone says that Wings keeps talking about me in his videos, and it's always negatively now. Like, people, oh, he's a narcissist and this and that, and literally everything he says is wrong. Like, every single impression he has is all incorrect. He says like the dumbest stuff, like I'm poor, I don't have money and stuff. It's like, what is he talking about? He says I live paycheck to paycheck and I'm a raging alcoholic. None of this is true. He still talks about that I play WWE champions. No, I don't. I quit that ages ago. But he's, you know, he says all this toxic stuff apparently about me. You know me, I don't talk about him. unless you guys bring him up, I have absolutely no reason to talk about this man. Okay, I don't. Why do I even bring him up? He has nothing to do with me, right? But he keeps bringing me up for some bizarre reason. He takes the bait, I guess. And I guess what happened yesterday was he's trying to lose weight, so he cut himself off of soda. He's not drinking soda. He's drinking Crystal Light. To be honest, that's a good idea. Crystal Light is only a few calories, and it's like artificial sweetener as opposed to the pure sugar. Now, you might say, well, that's not good for you either. No, it's better for him than what he was doing. He was drinking gallons of soda a day. This guy was drinking big, large sodas all day. So the fact that he's not doing that anymore is immediately going to give him results. I think he claims he's lost weight already in like a week that he's done it or whatever. But apparently, yesterday he freaked out on stream and he screamed something about being thirsty, and he threw his controller, because I've seen the clip. He threw his controller into the background, and you can clearly hear it hit the wall. And he turns like this, and he's looking like he probably made a giant hole in his wall with how hard he threw it, because his face is just like, oh, shit. I hear it. Like, I get it. I understand why he's frustrated. It just sucks that those moments are moments that get broadcast, right? Like that moment of him freaking out, getting so angry and throwing the controller. That's all you'll hear about, and everyone's going to clip that and highlight it, and that's what's going to be about on the internet. It's not going to be the story that he's actually off soda and he's losing weight and he's actually trying to do better for himself, which should be the story. The story is going to be he threw his controller in rage and he made a crater in his wall and shit like that. You know what I mean? That's just how the internet works. It's terrible that that's how the internet works, but that's how it works. Now, apparently he used to do this like all the time, like throw his controller and stuff. But since he's been on his like antidepressants and stuff for years, he hasn't done it anymore. So this is like a return to form of the old Wings. He's been off his meds apparently, and now he's trying to lose weight, and it's just like, it's crushing the guy. Okay? I don't wish the guy any ill will whatsoever. I don't actually think he's a horrible person or anything like that. I don't believe that. I think he's a guy that's just stuck in his ways. He's gotten to a point in his life where he's complacent. And that complacency sadly put him in a bad way with his work, with his health, with everything, okay? I want him to get better, but he has to work to get better. When he can't simply answer a DM about being on a podcast, when he can't talk to me on a stream, I mean, that's the minimum amount of effort to any kind of like crossover or thing that would get him attention, and he can't even do that. I mean, most of his streams are him playing Battlefield 6. No one wants to see him play Battlefield 6. That's why he has insanely poor attendance and low support on those streams. People want to see him do anything but play Battlefield 6, but that's all he wants to do. So he's going to fail. He has to have effort and creativity. He has to do something that's going to stand out that people will want to see. Sitting there playing Battlefield, being angry that he's not drinking soda and throwing his controller is what people want to see, just not the group of people he's looking for. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's appeasing the wrong group of people, and ultimately that's not going to do him well at all.
That's so crazy coming from you, DSP. You literally did the same exact thing not even a year ago with Keemstar. It might have been a year ago at this point. But Keemstar hit you up and was like, hey, do you want to join Boogie and Wings for what would go on to be like a mildly successful show? At least successful enough to change Boogie and Wings' life, like, noticeably. And you're just like, no, I will not have a dialogue with Keemstar whatsoever. And then when Adam and Craig are like, hey, so why don't you really like Keemstar? And you're just like, he said something about me years and years and years ago about the incident. Yeah, the same thing everyone talks about. And I just hate him. I'm not even going to acknowledge this business idea he's going to bring to me, which was smarter than anything DSP has thought of in the last 20 years. But still, yeah, wasn't going to listen to him at all. Could have changed some things for him, but nope, just disregarded it. But now that Wings of Redemption, a guy who notoriously sleeps all day and might get on live stream to complain for 5 hours and literally tells his audience, no, I go to sleep after this, and like, you should believe him because he probably does, unless he's hitting up Wendy's afterwards. So when he tells you like, hey, you know, I'm a real hard person to get a hold of, you're gonna get upset about this, DSP? He is literally telling you he is not a good friend, he is not good at communication, and he will probably let you down just like he has done with everybody else in the past. It's just who Wings of Redemption is. But you're gonna feel slighted over this. You can really tell that DSP is hurt and has no idea how to play this because he wants to be Wings' friend still, but he's also really affected by all of this. Or at the same time, I think DSP could just be such a crappy friend. We've seen this with Rambo and his other past friendships that maybe he just doesn't understand how to do it. And like, you know, most people when they're trying to be friends with people in general, they don't bring up their past moments. And yeah, you know, guys, you know, we can bring up like bad past moments and like clown our friend a little bit, but the way DSP does it is very degrading instead of like in a humorous way. And typically you only do that to them when there's not a crowd of people watching, unless the crowd of people understand that's your dynamic, or else you come across as kind of a mean person.
Would I forgive him if he apologized? There's not. Listen, I don't take offense. I want you to understand that. I don't. Like, I don't think that Wings not responding to me and blowing me off when he was supposed to be on my show was a personal insult. It wasn't. It's his laziness. It's ultimately, he says, oh, I'm antisocial, I'm depressed. No, you're just lazy. He's a lazy person who doesn't want to act on anything. He literally wants to sit and exist. So I'm not offended. He outright treats everyone like that. It's not like he went out of his way to just treat me like that. He treats everyone like that. So that's a problem. If he changes and he ever wants to come, hey, I'm actually going to act now and I'm going to respond like a professional and I want to, hey, I want to do something with Phil. I want to play a game with him or I want to be on his show or whatever. I would be open to that. But that's on him, not on me. I'm done wasting my time trying to contact the guy. He doesn't respond. So if he changes his mind and he wants to act for once instead of sit and exist, then I'm here. But that would be on him, not on me. Guys, if you enjoy late night chill streams here with Phil, please support the stream. Let's go, because we got just under an hour left. So I would appreciate any support that can be lent to the stream so it's not a dud. I mean, we wanted to finish the Lego build, right? So let's go. Let's get some support for Shake Shack. Let's get some support for Shake Shack if you want me to go there and spend $50. No, what I would do probably then, I probably wouldn't do... again, you would have to talk to Asmongold about that. I mean, here's the thing. People keep asking me almost nonstop now. Do you talk to Asmongold? Are you going to work with Asmongold? When's your next collab with Asmongold? And the answer, I don't know. He's the big-time guy, not me. If he had interest in doing anything with me, you'd probably hear about it on his streams, or he'd be contacting me and I'd let you know. Now, I could put the feelers out and talk to him behind the scenes maybe and say, hey, you know, just curious what everything's going. I could do that. I mean, no, to be honest, I'm not in any desperate rush for that. I'm doing well, you know, so it's not like I need to do anything with the guy. He said that he was going to reach out to me about this podcast idea, this gaming podcast, and he didn't. So I'm just assuming that nothing is going on with it that I could be involved in, right? But I'm not going crazy over it. So again, if I get word or if someone tells me, hey, Asmongold was actually talking about you on stream today about, you know, having you on or something, I'd be like, okay, let me reach out to him or whatever. But outside of that, I just, you know, I'm doing my own thing here. And by the way, for the record, someone just brought it up. He's a political streamer. Yes, he covers games, but he's constantly covering the news, politics. He's arguing with other content creators, drama stuff. I don't do any of that. So the potential for the crossover has to be within the realm of the stuff that I'm interested in being involved in, which would be gaming and stuff, you know, which is limited. Most of his stuff that he's popular for is not gaming stuff. You know what I mean?
When DSP talks about Wings, it is literally the worst case of the pot calling the kettle black. I mean, when DSP's calling him lazy, you don't want to do anything. You won't jump to any opportunity. In fact, I would say it's one of the biggest because it's so apparent that's one of the things that he doesn't do. Because the trolls have like pushed DSP into such a corner, he's afraid to do anything. He's afraid to stand out. And it's partially because anything like having to do with DSP's actual personality is off-putting or weird in some way, shape, or form. We know how much he likes to use slurs in his old commentaries. Like, he literally just can't expose that part of himself anymore. So he's just this withdrawn shell of himself that the only thing he's capable of doing anymore is seething and raging at the chat, which is very similar to Wings of Redemption, except DSP doesn't launch controllers across the room, he just doesn't know when to turn off the camera. In fact, the only time DSP in recent memory has even attempted to get himself out of this, whatever the heck you would call it, and be like, alright, I'm gonna try to get some more fame, or I guess popularity on the internet. I'm gonna hang out at the Kino Casino, and anyone with half a brain knew that was gonna be amazing. Like, I did not care one bit that the Kino was glazing him. I didn't care that DSP was getting a little bit more money from some of the Kino fans, because I knew once it all went down, it was going to be the biggest catastrophe DSP has ever faced, and it really destroyed the man. He can't trust anybody anymore. Even with Wings of Redemption, another lolcow, he still got to put feelers out to test and see, is he going to get clowned again? Is he going to get made a fool of? Because DSP understands that Wings of Redemption probably still talks to Keem, and that this could be an elaborate ruse at any point. Keemstar could put Wings of Redemption up to something and he might go through with it. He's even kind of doing it to Asmongold. He literally can't even put all of his trust into a guy who is not going to troll him, who has no ulterior motive. Asmon is so big that it doesn't matter to him. Like, alright, if he's going to troll or make fun of DSP, he's going to do it publicly and everyone's going to know about it. But if he's going to try to befriend DSP and give him a softball interview like he did, everyone's gonna know about that too. Now, Asmon, I'm pretty sure, is in like 2 or 3 lawsuits right now and is dealing with some complications of some past friendships or business partners of his. So when the video game podcast falls through, I would imagine it's probably a little bit more on you than it is him, because why would he want to be tied to you? He's going to receive scrutiny for it no matter what. Look what happened to Kino Casino. His life's going to get hard. So if there's already some difficulties, why even bring you into the fray? It doesn't make much sense whatsoever. And also, when Asmongold gave you his little bit of a boost, you could have done a couple of things so that Asmon might want to actually talk to you and have a conversation, a dialogue with you. But no, you just seem miserable ever since then. Like, you literally cannot break it. You had such a golden opportunity. Asmon gives you a softball interview and you just throw it all down the drain. And then you're going to be like, well, Asmon is a political commentator. I don't do that. But when PPP said that you should probably do some political commentary, what did you do, DSP? You literally done political commentary. Like, this is something you would talk about. You told everybody that you want to be a political streamer when you're done with video games. So wouldn't working with Asmongold be like a nice little transfer over into that? Wouldn't it be? I mean, Asmongold, I'm pretty sure originally was a World of Warcraft streamer. He did it. You've been on this platform a lot longer than he has. Why can't you make that transition?
Do you think it would be better for Wings to slowly cut soda over a 1 to 2 week period versus cold turkey? I personally had more success slowly cutting down. When I cooked cold turkey, I got irritable like Wings seems to have gotten. There's a few different ways you can do things, okay? You can do things cold. If you're going to, let's say you're doing something in your diet, in your habit, your lifestyle. Like, it doesn't even just have to be like a food or drink. It could be anything that you just are used to doing as part of your life and your routine, and now you want to cut it out. There's different methodologies, right? Methodology number 1 is if you're just going to do it, just do it, and then deal with the repercussions, but at least you're immediately getting the full positive benefits of cutting whatever this is out of your life, whether it's a certain kind of food or drink, hell, liquor, drugs, you know what I mean? Now, the thing is, when you're on harder substances like liquor and drugs, you're going to get withdrawals, right? With sugar, yes, you also will get withdrawals and crashing, but it won't be as severe. You know what I mean? Like, you're going to have days when you might just have a straight up headache, or you're just not feeling good because your body. In regards to, the sugar withdrawal that Wings did, he could have slowly weaned himself off. All right. But if you want my honest opinion, I don't think it ever would have worked, because if Wings had any kind of self-control, he would have already used it. So if you're going to slowly wean yourself off of something, you have to have a level of self-control where you're going to actively say, okay, normally I'd have 4 sodas in a day. Now we're going to start to only have 3. Then within a week, now we're only going to have 2. Then within a week, I'm only going to have 1. And then after that, I don't have it anymore. I don't feel he has that level of control over himself. I think that the way that he did it just cut it entirely is probably the only way that it was ever going to work. And hopefully what he's doing is he's completely eliminated soda from his household. You know, over a course of many years, I weaned myself completely off of all those beverages. Like, I started drinking sugary energy drinks and things like that all day when I was, recording and streaming. Then eventually I weaned myself down to, say, the G Fuel drinks, which had less sugar and stuff like that, but it still had a lot of the energy drink ingredients in it. Then I weaned myself to the Crystal Lights. Okay. Then after the Crystal Light, I went to the flavored seltzer water. And now I'm literally just drinking plain filtered water out of my fridge. What's it called? Pure water filter that I have in my fridge, the pitcher. So there's no flavor. But I'm okay with that because all I'm drinking this for is to hydrate. All it would take is one really bad day. One day where something goes really bad in his personal life or something goes horrible on stream, and he's going to immediately go back to it because this is what he said is he relapses when something horrible goes on. When he went to Fat Camp last year on Lol Cow Live and the whole debacle happened with him and his wife, that basically made him start to binge eat. So imagine he has soda in the house and he's slowly weaning himself off and he's 3 weeks in, he's doing a great job, and then something horrible happens and now, oh God, can't control himself, he starts chugging again, right? So maybe cold turkey was the way to go. There you go. Mark says he's lost 11 pounds and 5 kilos by quitting sugar drinks. Yes, it's incredible how many calories you ingest drinking sugary drinks and you just don't realize it.
DSP is the worst. You accidentally don't answer one of his phone calls, and then the very next day he's on live stream hating on you. He's trying to act like he's not, but oh yeah, Wings of Redemption, he just has no will whatsoever. The guy has no backbone. I mean, if he did, he would have obviously got these things fixed a long time ago. It's like, well yeah, I mean, you're kind of right there, DSP, but does anyone really want to hear that coming from you? You're the guy who lied about drinking gin for 10 plus years. I mean, if he was openly drinking gin, I mean, then that's a completely different story, but he was lying and saying that it was water. I mean, even right now, when you pull up the water bottle, I can't for sure say that there's just water in there. I mean, especially after the 2 a.m. drunk calls come out. I mean, all the detractors used to say is DSP sits there, potentially it seems like sometimes getting hammered on stream, and then when he's done, he sits there in the middle of the night and does his little drunk tweets. Well, with the 2 a.m. phone call with Wings that I'm going to show you guys right now, that's starting to seem like more the case. And that makes it even funnier that you, for whatever reason, will run to Wings at any opportunity. You get called at 2 in the morning. Well, excuse me guys, I worded that a little poorly. Wings of Redemption was live streaming at like 2 in the morning. Wings of Redemption said that he would have a conversation with Phil, and it was very late at night. And for whatever reason, this was so out of character of DSP, he runs to the phone, jumps on it, and starts talking to Wings while Kat is in the bed next to him. This is unheard of. This is the same me time that his viewers will not get a longer stream for. This is the same me time that he raged out on Keemstar about, because how dare you come at me on my off time, a YouTuber who has no set schedule whatsoever. But when Wings of Redemption does it, it's all good. He will get on his wife's nerves. It's not a problem.
I subscribe to you, and I randomly, every once in a while, I'll click on your stream if I see it live. And tonight I saw Arc Raider. I was like, what the hell? He's playing Arc Raiders? He never plays Arc Raiders. So I clicked on it to see what you were doing. And immediately these guys are talking detractor memes to you. I don't know if you realized that. I don't. Did you even know what they were saying?
I did not. Is that otter shit? What is that?
No. So I know they were talking about otter shit. I have no idea what that is, but they were doing that countdown stuff, a 13 or 14, 13, 12, whatever the fuck that is, a countdown stuff. And the second they did that, I was like, that's a detractor meme to this guy. Yeah. This is.
I mean, sorry, I didn't doubt. I don't have enough time in the game. I got 6 hours in the game. Like I said, I don't know I know how to do the buttons and the rolls and everything, but I could give a shit less about what the kit looks like and things like that. But we were winning our gunfight, so I was like, okay, I guess they're playing good enough, right?
Yeah, to my knowledge, there's nothing in the game about otters at all. I've been playing it. Well, I played it over 20, 30 hours. like 2 months, and I don't even know what the hell they were talking about. Like, they were guiding you through it at a basic level. I only see you from like a weird perspective of, I don't watch your content all the time. And I interviewed you a couple months ago, or a few months ago now. I hope you're doing well. Or like, genuinely, I mean that. Like,
I've gave up soda at this point, and I'm kind of down because like I've not seen the numbers on the scale to reflect me giving up soda. And like every time I talk about it in the chat, it sucks because everybody becomes a nutritionist and everybody tells you how to do something the best way to do it. You probably deal with the same thing in your chat, and that sucks because like I want to use the chat as like a dear diary, whereas like I just want you guys to listen and let me be I need y'all guys to be a therapist. I don't need nutritionists right now, and that sucks because that never works. That just makes me look like an asshole most of the times.
dude, I'm going to give you credit at least for trying to quit soda. If you have actually legitimately done that,
I've legitimately quit. Like I've got Crystal Light in my hand right now. Like that's what I wanted to get. It's like it's like Mio. It's like it just flavors water. You don't ever feel like I've always put it like this way. Like if I was to like, let's say our job was a regular job. Say we're doing like Excel spreadsheets, right? And to put it apples to apples, like every time I go to click on an Excel spreadsheet box, someone would take my mouse and move it 5 feet to the right. That's what it feels like to do this job with the level of like scrutiny that me and you both get. There's a lot of people. We're not by ourselves in this, but it feels like there's always somebody trying to move the goalpost 5 feet every time you go somewhere, so you never can get ahead because of that.
yeah, and it doesn't matter when you get to the level that we're both at, where you have so many people who are micromanaging every single thing you do. They're analyzing every single thing you say and how you do it, every mannerism that you move on camera, right? It doesn't matter if you improve, if you actually do or not. To them, it's just another thing for them to cover. It's just another thing for them to make content out of.
DSP tries to act like the trolls don't control his entire life, but no normal-minded person goes into someone else's live stream and is like, hey, did you know they're bringing up detractor memes in your comment section? And it's like, first off, that's what no one calls them besides DSP. I mean, like, if you're making a meme out of it, then you will, but besides that, no one says that. And second off, if you're going into someone else's live stream where they've called you up out of their own good graces, you know what's one thing they probably don't want you to bring up, just so this conversation can be a little productive? The people saying bad things in their chat. Anybody with a sizable audience, every now and then has someone come in and say something, negative. It just happens. No one really minds them or pays attention to them because that's what you're supposed to do. But DSP, the guy who's so above it all, instantly has to bring it up, and then the conversation for like the next 10 or 15 minutes is only about the detractors and what the detractors have to say and how they're all wrong. And it's like you have immediately turned this conversation around, DSP. You're an emotional vampire. You have sucked away the little energy Wings of Redemption had left. This guy's Lexapro just got completely stomped out by the pure negativity of DSP.
At the point I am in my, and I say career, and everyone laughs at me. Ho ho ho! Career,
we've
right?
been doing this shit almost 20 years. Like that's a career.
Right.
It's one thing if you're just starting out calling it a career, but like, nah, dog. Like my face has got gray hairs from this shit.
Well, they laugh at us, right? And they say, oh, what you do is so easy. It's like, yeah, you try sitting in front of a public audience for 20 years. Well, for me, it's like around 18 years. You're around 19 years, actually, at this point. And say that you can survive it. And you can still be pertinent and have people who watch you every day who even give a shit. So many people have faded into the background, right?
Because people are like, oh, you got to do new stuff. You got to do new stuff. And like, yeah, like what I like playing hasn't led to a lot of success, right? So like, it's like, all right, you want me to play Arc Raiders? Arc Raiders is the biggest game. Because I was making the point, like, Burnt Peanut doesn't do much more than I can do, right? Like, he just makes fun of people while playing Arc Raiders. I do the same thing on Red Sect. And I was trying to prove a point. Like, I could get on Arc Raiders and be just as entertaining as Burnt Peanut. And I think people are having, like, a bias against me because of that fact.
Right. I'm going to say something up front. You need to stop comparing yourself to people who are, like, ridiculously overblown successful, because that is your biggest problem. But I do it and I'm happy. And it took a long time for me to say that. Like, that's actually hard for me to say that. I'm happy because I'm not big. It means I'm happy and I'm doing good too. Like, I'm in the best position of my life financially and things are going good. Even though my detractors say the opposite, which I'm sure they're all analyzing our talk right now.
Because they like put you on fucking live stream fails the other day because you had a $20 session with Call of Duty. It's like, this sucks, right? It sucks to make $20 after you play a game you hate for 3 hours. It's like, well, I just wasted my time doing this.
Yeah, but there were, because I made $20 playing Call of Duty. Actually, after I made $50 on a podcast, and then I made $20 after I quit Call of Duty, and then I made ad revenue on that, and then I made Kick revenue because I'm part of the Kick Partner Program. Do you see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like, what they're saying is bullshit. I didn't make $20 on a stream. I haven't made $20 on a stream in like 10 years.
But
that's
they
nonsense.
They got a little snippet of where you complained about it, and they just used it and utilized it.
Exactly.
It's amazing how when DSP is listening to the story of Wings of Redemption telling his audience that he could definitely bring as much passion and energy to an Arc Raiders match as Burnt Peanut ever could. Even though I'm pretty sure I've only watched a couple videos of Burnt Peanut, and by that I mean shorts that I quickly went through, that he's brought more passion and energy to a single live stream than Wings of Redemption has put into an order at Wendy's. There has not been a moment in Wings of Redemption's career that you could call passionate. It's more like a slow burn to an inevitable end. Like, I used to watch Wings of Redemption way back in the day. He was like one of the first Call of Duty streamers, or I guess people who made videos on Call of Duty back then. It was like him, Chris Smoove, X-Jaws, and Woody's Gamertag. Not a very big selection, and Wings was always one of my least favorite, but I at least kept up with him, especially when he was on the PKA podcast when it was more about Call of Duty. I remember watching the Syndicate Wing match live. Well, not really live. I mean, live streams sucked back then. It was like, you heard it was live and then you went over to Drama Alert to see the results, and it was hilarious. Everyone thought Wings was going to win. Syndicate was the zombie guy, and that, now that I think of it, is gotta be the most passionate Wings has ever been in his life. The last time his confidence was ever up, when he was trash talking Syndicate right as that controller flew into the wall and shattered into pieces. That was not only Wings of Redemption's confidence, but the last time he brought an ounce of energy to anything. So it's crazy to hear Wings, like maybe over a decade later, be like, I know I could entertain a stream to the maximum of that nature. I could hold tens of thousands of viewers. I don't have any archived footage of it, but you know, that was not an entertaining stream. He was not upbeat. There was no energy whatsoever. And DSP just slam dunks on him real quick, hammered drunk. It's like two homeless dudes on the street sharing a bottle. Listen, man, don't compare yourself to those McDonald's workers over there. They'll get us every time. You know, they wake up early, they drink at a reasonable time, they go to bed at a reasonable time. We'll just never be them, Wings. Just destroys any bit of confidence Wings has remaining in him. And then when Wings is about to turn it around on DSP, like, all right, if we're addressing our failures right now, I guess I should address Phil's. And he's like, you know, people think you're broke because you beg all that. And DSP's like, well, excuse me? Me broke? No, I'm rich. I am as wealthy as I've ever been in my lifetime. You know, like those times me and you used to talk about the machinima days where we're making $20,000, $30,000 a month? Oh yeah, I do way better than that now. And so if you do better than that now, why are you having mental breakdowns when you don't get $100 a night? Most live streamers don't make $100 in tip donations a night. Now, I do think DSP is like, started counting super chats as well towards that goal, because that's just insane to only count direct tips towards you as money you've got. But you cannot play the poor man, the homeless guy sitting there drinking your gin with Wings of Redemption outside of the Taco Bell, but when someone says something about it to you, you get up, you dust yourself off, you take off the homeless guy jacket, and then you're just a dude in a business suit. You know, we've all heard those stories before, but that's what DSP is trying to pretend to be. You just can't have both, DSP. You either have to be the homeless beggar that you like to portray yourself as 99% of your stream, or you're this wealthy businessman who's outlasted all of your competition when you're actually talking to people.
Honest question for you. while I got you here, because this is what, honestly, when I had you,
I'm hard to talk to.
dude, you are very hard to talk to.
I
Holy
cut the
shit.
world. I'm very anti people.
You understand why I jumped on the chance when you said, "Oh, I'll call Phil." I'm like, oh my god, my wife is asleep next to me in the bed. Okay, seriously, but she sleeps with noise canceling stuff on because our neighbors are so fucking loud. Okay, that's another story for another day. Okay, but I can like just do random stuff at night, not loud, but calm stuff. And he said, oh my god, he said, we can have a conversation. I'm going to have this conversation right now. Let me jump because I tried so hard to get you on my show. It's not about getting you on the show. It's about having a conversation with you. Okay, it really is.
Mm-hmm.
And I care about you. I'm going to be honest with you, Jordy. I care about you. I do. I see what you're going through. It's very similar to things that I've been through or am going through. And I know how painful it is. I know how stressful it is.
I didn't like where Locale was heading, right? I didn't like that it was like a 24-hour telethon where it's like, it felt like we were running a church more than a podcast, right? Like, give to Jesus. Like, everything was like, how much mustard can we dump on our head to make money?
Right. And that's not content. In my opinion, that's not content. That's the clown acting, smashing a pie in his own face. And yes, a clown is a full-time job. It really is.
Yeah.
There's clowns out there who make full-time money.
Boogie is a full-time clown right now. And I want to say he's my friend. And like, I've called him a couple times, like, and told him he had to slow down on certain jokes because it's going to hurt him in the long run. But like it bothers me to my core that Boogie is like ripping his house up for like Locale Live right now. It's like, have you seen the state of Boogie's like streaming room right now? Like, I'm not going to sit here and be delusional. Like, anybody's going to show up to like one of my Red Sex streams 20 years from now. If that shit might get one view a year, right? It's like to me, it's like bubblegum content. Like, you consume it right then and there, and once it goes out into the trash can, it's never to be seen again. Like,
that's because you're playing Red Sec.
I mean, like,
seriously,
right? But like, what's the difference between that and like Breath of the Wild?
Because, all right, I'll give you an example. All right, the other day, I'm streaming, and someone joins my stream, and do you believe them or not? I don't know. Someone says, wow, I just found your Heavy Rain playthrough.
Mm-hmm.
Heavy Rain, that game came out in 2010. Yeah, I found your Heavy Rain playthrough, and I loved it. And I just decided to check out your live content, and to be honest, your content is nothing like it used to be.
And I'm gonna reference this. There's a girl that I know you watch. She makes like video content of old games like
I'm
Juggernaut.
sorry, baby.
If you're gonna have these conversations, can you please let me know?
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Because they're being insanely loud.
I am. I'm sorry. I was too loud, guys.
I gotta feel in trouble. But
yeah, I'm sorry. My wife wants to go to sleep. I'm sorry, guys.
But
this is why I don't do this stuff at night, and I didn't know I was being this loud, so I gotta go.
It's so crazy how DSP has this like fascination with his content living forever. I've heard Steve-O mentioning something similar with like his videotapes and all the stuff he's done throughout his life. It's like just an idea for him to go on forever. For someone like Steve-O, in like 60 or 70 years, I don't know how many people are going to be watching Jackass or whatever Steve-O is up to. And I can certainly tell you in 60 or 70 years, no one's gonna be watching DSP content. In fact, YouTube probably a long time before that's probably gonna wipe everything and just start it over, if it's even around at that point. So there's not really much hope there. If you really wanted to leave a legacy, that's normally why you have children, but I think we mentioned it earlier in this video, DSP doesn't plan on it, and that is a good thing. He would be the worst parent ever, just of all time. I seriously doubt he could put someone else above him. It just could not happen. Think of the way he's talking to Wings. Like, he can tell him and Wings are on the same level, and if you really think about it, Wings is like a step above DSP in all honesty. He's willing to actually do things to improve his situation, every now and then. There's not a chance in the world DSP would get in a boxing ring for any amount of money. And that's kind of because Wings of Redemption is more of a realistic person compared to DSP. Wings of Redemption has his own flaws and things that he could definitely improve on, but every now and then he will be very realistic about his situation and then just completely ignore everything he says. He is right when he's telling DSP, like, yeah, this really doesn't last. I mean, how many views are we actually getting off of this? Probably like 10 per year, and then those people probably didn't even really watch it. They probably was there for like 4 or 5 minutes. DSP is like, no, my Heavy Rain playthrough. And DSP, it's always your Heavy Rain playthrough because of one reason. That's the meme. That's the meme. And speaking of detractor memes, there was this one thing DSP always did. Whenever there was a woman on screen, DSP would like recoil in fear. Like, oh my god, a woman's there. Oh my goodness. And she's like in slightly revealing clothes. Like, how disgusting is that? And a lot of people pinned that on his potential relationship with John Rambo, and they thought, maybe that's why. Now, that's still possible and everything, but I'm starting to think that Kat is like one of these super jealous people, because as soon as Wings of Redemption brought up a woman, Kat instantly woke up, started yelling at DSP, put him in his place, basically treated him how we all knew she did. It's like, get out of here, Phil. If you're gonna be talking about some nonsense like women, you need to go in another room. And Kat used to be a DSP viewer. Maybe she still is, and she's just jealous over every woman in DSP's world. I can't imagine that, and if she is, I can promise her I don't think there's a soul other than OIC who's willing to bark up that tree. But I guess that's enough for me today, guys. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to drop a like, subscribe, follow all the socials down below, use the new hype feature as well, leave a comment, and I'll catch you guys next time.